Now, if the engine approaches the red line at the end of the longest straight, like it's almost there, like pretty much right there on red line, you're golden. But like one thing I like to do, me personally, is I'll mess around with my gear ratio. Like the gear settings that I get from the base is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it. But you can still mess around with those settings or whatever. But I like to give myself about, before it hits the red, now I'm talking about like before red lines, but when you're watching the speedometer, or you're watching your RPMs or whatever, and you're watching the marker, it's moving up, and you see it gets to the red line, but it goes more before it actually red lines or whatever. Like what I like to do, this may sound confusing, but not before it red lines literally, but before the marker gets to the red line. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, but I like to leave about 500 RPMs in between that. So say the car, like the red line starts at like 8,000 RPMs. The red line starts at 8,000 RPMs, but the car actually doesn't red line until 8,500 RPM. So I like to leave myself like an extra 500, like a gap, and I'll tell you why in a second. So I would actually, it's more or less when you're reading your telemetry and you're watching, usually about 500, say around 7,500 RPMs. That's when you still have the torque and the power. Like after 7,500 RPM, that's when you start losing power. Like you're still gaining speed, but you're losing power. And I shift before because I want to keep my power. I don't want to lose my power. So the reason why I leave that extra 500. I'm sorry if this sounds very confusing. So it's actually like 10,000. It's actually 1,000. Sorry about 10,000. It's actually 1,000 before actually a red line. But because this is why I do this, because there is drafting in this game. So if you do what is it, like if you worry about the car getting to 8,000, like I said, the car red line's at 8,500, but the red line marker is at 8,000, and I like to shift at 7,500. See, I have that 1,000 RPMs of space that if I'm drafting someone, I'm not going to redline. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Hope you do. So if say some idiot, if they are shifting once they redline or right before, like say they're shifting at 82,000, like you redline at 8,500, but the person is shifting at 8,200 or whatever, like right before it redlines, which is stupid. They're actually hurting themselves, but because they only have that 200, that 300, RPM space or whatever. I know I'm like rambling on about this, but it's just so, I'm telling you, you deal with a lot of drafting. Like I'm saying, like if you're in sixth gear, and you're drafting like what is it, Sebring, and you're on that last straight before you start finish line, you know what straight I'm talking about, and you're drafting somebody, and you don't have the gear set up properly, you're gonna hit that red line too soon, and you won't be able to keep up with it. You won't be able to draft and gain momentum and speed and be able to pass them because you redlined too early. But since I give myself that gap of 1,000 RPM, I can actually gain, like I can draft that person, gain that momentum, gain that speed, and actually pass them. I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry if that was like confusing and everything. You can completely disregard that if that did not make any sense. But moving on, I can spend a lot of time on the gearings and everything like that. But yeah, that's the final top speed gearing, everything. Now, when it comes to the final gearbox settings, now this is like working with the individual gears or whatever. Like if the engine is not responsive or like bogs down in certain gears, you want to raise the individual gear ratio. You know, move it to the right. You want that acceleration. You don't want it to be bogging down. Now, when if the shift spacing is too far, or I'm sorry, not too far, too close together, like you're shifting way too much, you want that more speed. So you want to lower the individual gears. You know, you want that you don't want them to be, you know, too high because you're shifting too much and you're going to redline ridiculously too fast, and you're going to lose all your top speed. Now, you know, once the engine pulls strongly and, you know, each gear, like you pull strongly in each gear, you know, at all points on the track, you're good. You're golden. You don't need to mess around with, you know, the gears. I mean, you can still improve and whatever, but you're pretty much, you're set. Now, we're going to talk about something two things we haven't really talked about, and these are like the last two things. The front toe, well, the toe really, and the dampering. Now, the front toe, like the car, it won't turn in well. Like you try and it won't turn in well. Like that's when people don't mess with the toe a lot, but I mean it can help out quite significantly. Like but you have to be careful with it. Like I said, if the car won't turn in like well, you want to increase the toe out. Like move the slider to the right. Now, if the car is unstable when, you know, traveling, you know, going down like a straight, or like for instance, like I said, Sebring, like if the car is like very unstable, it's hard to control it going down just a flat straight, you want to decrease the toe, you know, move that slider to the left. Now once you find that good balance between, you know, stability and turning in, you're good. Now when it comes to the rear toe, like the car just, you know, understeers like slightly, you know, at, you know, corner and exit, you want to increase the toe out a bit. Now if the car is unstable, like same thing, if the car is unstable going down the back straight, you know, Sebring or whatever, you want to decrease, you know, add some negative toe, you know, move that slider to the left. Now, you know, like I said, you know, once you find that good balance between, you know, stability and corner exits, you're good. Now with the dampering, and this is the last thing I have to say this, I don't even know how many parts I've made this video into, but yeah, the dampering, in dealing with like the bumps and, you know, the curves or whatever. If the car is like too bouncy, you know, over bumps and curves, you want to increase the rebound bump. I mean, not bump, the rebound dampering. You want to increase the rebound dampering. Now, if the car jumps over bumps and curves, you want to increase the bump dampering. Now, if the car like kind of like skates over bumps and curves, you want to decrease the bump, or you might want to decrease the rebound dampering, depending. That's, like I said, these are things you got to play around with. And like I said, it takes hours, weeks, sometimes months to tune the car the way you want it to, you know, to be tuned. Now, once you know the car is stable, you know, over bumps and curves, you've reached, you know, the ideal goal. You've achieved it. Now, corner entry. Like if the car, like you come into a corner, obviously, and the car on the stairs during, like you're trying to turn in, and the car on the stairs, but then, you know, seems to settle, you want to decrease your front bump. Now, if the car is, you know, did I say oversteering? I meant to say understeering for the last one. I'm sorry. If the car, let me repeat that. If the car is understeering during, you know, you're trying to turn in, the car is like understeers, but then, you know, this magically decides to settle, you know, you want to decrease the front bump. Now, if the car is oversteering during, you know, turning in, but then, you know, it magically decides to settle, you want to increase the front bump. Now, once, you know, the car is stable, it turns in stable and balanced and doesn't change, you know, in the middle of the corner, you're good. You're golden. Now, this is dealing with them, like I said, the damperings. You're dealing with the corner exits. You're exiting that corner, and the car, you know, is starting to oversteer, and, you know, wants to spin out or whatever. And during the exit, you want to decrease the rear bump. Now, if the car on the stairs, you know, wants to pull you to that wall of death, you want to increase your rear bump. Now, you know, once you get, you know, the car stable during the exits, you know, it's not trying to kill you by either spinning you out or pulling you to that wall. You're good, you're balanced, and that's it. Now, those are the 16 steps of tuning. Oh, I gotta stretch it out. But those are the 16 steps I found them very, you know, helpful. I figured, like I said, I've never found any videos or any tuning guides on, you know, in Forza 3 or whatever. I think I found this for Forza 2, and I still use it for Forza 3. It's very helpful. I hope it's very helpful for you guys. Hopefully I make some more tutorials, you know, in the future or whatever. See, obviously, I have, you know, a download link for everything that is talked about. I have a download link for this, you know, the 16 steps, and I also have like a download link for the whatchamacallit, the calculator to help you get, you know, a base, you know, setup. I would recommend, I hope you guys have like either Open Office or Microsoft Word, Excel, spreadsheet, something like either one of those programs, so you can pull this up, because it is in this like spreadsheet format or whatever. But I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope it helps you out, you know, become a better tuner, better racer, better driver, and everything like that. Please sub, rate, comment, you know, and so forth. Like this video, I mean, or the videos. I mean, I don't even know how many I got. But that's pretty much it, guys. Take it easy and see you guys next time. Peace.